Hello, Crafty Mavens. I'm back today with another mixed media layout for you for our Party Friday. This video is a bit longer because I kept my entire mixed media process in it to show you how I created my background. So I have dazzlers and textures and pasties, all from Shimmers. And the pasties that I'm putting on now is Peach Fuzz. And I'm just using a palette knife, getting some of that product on my palette knife and just smooshing it down. So when I started creating this layout, I got about halfway through it and then realized I hadn't looked at the mood board for this week. So, yeah. But I doubt very highly that this matches the mood board. If it does, that would be a happy little accident. But I really wanted to show you this layout, and I really love how this turned out. So this is a textures, and this is gold mine. So an FYI, Shimmers products do have an expiration date, which for me means that I use my Shimmers products up pretty fast. I'm just scraping the bottom of my textures pot there, the gold mine one. There isn't much left in that pot, which is good because it's starting to dry out a little bit, and so I can feel it in the texture of the medium. And so I'm really happy that I've used almost all of it, so that's awesome. This is a Dazzlers. Dazzlers take forever to dry. Just an FYI, if you're doing textures or Dazzlers on a project, it's going to need to sit for a couple of hours. Pasties dry fairly fast, much faster than either the textures or the Dazzlers. So depending on how impatient you are, you may want to go with the pasties instead of the dazzlers or the textures. So this textures has this sand in it, like this grit. It's super shimmery, and then it has this lovely like bumpy texture to it, and it's really cool. It's one of my favorite products. Pasties are more matte. They don't have a lot of shimmer to them, but they are a really nice medium, and they dry really fast, and they go through stencils like a dream. And then you have the dazzlers, which always look beautiful enough, so beautiful that, and are so like whipped and awesome that you want to eat it, but you can't. And it's got loads and loads of shimmer, but they just take a little bit longer to dry. So there's just some information for you about all of these different Shimmers products I'm using. The dazzlers is called See You in the Morning. I don't think I mentioned that. And then the pasties is Peach Fuzz, and the textures is Gold Mine. So now I'm going to go ahead and get my sprays out. And I went and found sprays that I thought would coordinate with the colors that I have on my layout already. So if you just give me a minute here, because I like to clean up between steps. I have some of my very favorite mists here. So this one that I'm using now is called Glorious Day, and it dries to a lovely gold color. So I'm just going to tap it. I'm trying to do color on color here with the sprays, and there is a little bit of overlap, but there's a little bit of overlap in the pastes, textures, and dazzlers as well, so it's all good. So I'm just going to give everything a little bit of some splatters that go up and down from my colors. This is Oh Say Can You See, which is another spray. And just so you know, these sprays, they have expiration dates too. I have a pink one right now that I'm loath to open because I know it's gone bad on me. And you can tell your sprays have gone bad when they start to smell a little bit like mold or mildew. Yeah. So this one is See You in the... Wait, hold on. That's Oh Say Can You See, and the dazzlers are See You in the Morning. Yeah. And then for the pink, this is Peachy Keen, and it comes out, so it looks really orangey, but when it dries, it lightens up a ton. So just keep that in mind. And we're just gonna splatter, and then let everything aside to dry. To give you an idea as to drying time, I started this layout around 7:30 in the morning, and then I left it all sit on my scrapbook desk to dry until after dinner. So we're talking like maybe 10 hours. So now I know that I want to back my page, my scrapbook page with a piece of paper. And initially, so the photos are of my youngest son painting on our back patio. And initially I had thought that I wanted that wood grain there. I'm just checking to make sure I was measuring right. I thought that wood grain would be nice, and it had all the colors in it, but it had this pink that I really wasn't thinking I was going to bring in, and I wasn't loving it, so I went back into my stash and looked, and I found this paper, which is from Webster's Pages, and it's perfect. I'm so glad that I keep some of these papers in my collection for really long, because then at some point I find like the perfect thing to use them for. So this is an older paper from Webster's Pages. I have a lot of Webster's Pages stash, older stash, and a lot of basic gray older stash, because they were some of my very, very favorite manufacturers. And yeah, so I love it when I can find a use for all these things. And you'll see over to the side I have lots of Allison Craft products there. I recently got a kit from the Secret Not Secret Kit Club, and I asked the owner, Christina, to please create me an embellishment kit to match all of my Allison Craft paper. And she did a fabulous, fabulous job. I might have to have her do it again because I still have lots of paper, but I'm almost through the embellishment kit. So now I'm just going through, and I want to add some a back to my pictures. And initially I was not going to do that tealy blue because the dazzlers are green, but a lot of my alphabets that I want to use are the blue, not the green. So I'm going to mix the blue and the green all together on my layout. And to try to keep some of that continuity there, I'm going to go ahead and map my photos on both this lighter yellow and then that teal green color. So the next thing I'm going to do is I'm going to put a ton of wet glue behind my photos and kind of pop them right there. When I make a mixed media background, I like to keep the embellishments really understated, but in this case, that's not what happens, and you'll totally see how that works out. So this watercolor tag, I'm going to go ahead and grab, I really didn't want to add any black to this page, so I'm going to go ahead and do my journaling. And my son, while I was doing this, came over and split a Coke with me, and he put a little cup of Coke on my scrapbook table. This is my oldest son, who's 17, and he and I split Cokes because I do not allow him to have a whole one. He's allowed to have one half of one Coke, like every other day or every third day. It's really just a treat. So I'm using my Tombow. There's more to the Coke story. Just hold on. So this is my Tombow dual tip pen, and I found a peachy color because I didn't want to put black into this layout. The pictures are kind of sepia toned. They're not black and white, and so I just did not want to add that harsh pop of black to this layout. So I'm also going to use my Tombow dual tip pen to color my date stamp. This is a really, really cool thing about these Tombow dual tip brush pens. So I have the bright set. I'd love to get another set, but right now I have the bright set. And so it's whatever the orangey peachy color is. That's in the bright set. I'm not sure what the exact color. And you see how the Coke disappeared? So while I was all in the zone and scrapbooking, my youngest son, who isn't allowed to have any Coke, and especially not in the evening, came and stole the cup right off my table without me even noticing, because that's how in the zone I was scrapbooking. And so after I got all done with this layout, I'm like, where's my Coke? So funny. And I left it in there because I just think it's really funny, this little hand's just kind of sneaking over, taking the cup of Coke and walking away with it. And I'm like, la 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 la, in the scrapbook zone. I really didn't even, I kind of, in the back of my head, knew that my son had come and flipped, and now he brought it back. Because he realized he was in trouble. Yeah, because a little bit, I think if I kept the audio in, you would have heard me going, Morgan, didn't you just put Coke on my table? And he's like, yeah. And then he went looking for it. He's like, Morgan took it. Logan took it. So in the meantime, I took some just embroidery thread, and I went ahead and wrapped it around my tag, and then I'm going to staple it just for some extra texture. I know there's already a ton of texture on this layout, but you know, you can never have too much. And I'm going to tuck my journaling into the side. And now I'm going to go ahead and embellish. I'm using Scotch Tacky Glue, which is the best glue to use on these mixed media backgrounds. And if you saw me there, I accidentally splotched some of the mist. I had gotten some mist on my photo, which if you have a photo that you printed on your computer would be a disaster. Like if you printed it at home. These were printed at persnickety, which means that the color, you can put them in water and the color doesn't come off. So I could just very easily get rid of that little bit of mist with a baby wipe, and it didn't smear or hurt the photo. And that right there is the perfect example of why I am a fan of not printing at home and printing at persnickety. So these are little cloud die cuts that I'm just kind of spreading around and gluing down. And that one at the top that's just a solid white, I'm going to move that one around like 15 times. And I think it ends up like over behind the tag or something. But I'm going to outline it. I grabbed that orange pen that I did my journaling with, and I decided I wanted to pull some more of that little bit of orange into the layout because it does match the peachy orange of the splatters and that texture paste, the pasties, but I still felt like I wanted just a little bit more of it than in the journaling. So now I'm going to get to work on my titles. So my title is really long. I chose a quote from Picasso for my title that I really wanted to use. So I used a ton of letter stickers, and my quote is, "Every child is an artist. The problem is how to remain an artist when we grow up." And the quote is from Picasso. And I love that quote, and I just wanted to use it so badly, so I grabbed all the letter stickers, and used it. I think that another way you could have done this was to cut it with a silhouette and then had it like run down the side of the page, but I wanted to use that background with those photos and that and that quote. So this is what we did. And the photos and journaling are of talking about how my son and I, on this crazy warm day in October, we went outside and we got on our patio and we were just painting and creating on canvases, and he was creating with me. And he is a little artist, so he loves. I've done other layouts about him being creative and painting and stuff before. So that's going to pretty much complete this layout. Here is some close-ups. Hold on a second. Sorry about that. Slight technical difficulty. Here's my finished layout. Thank you so much for joining me today at the Crafty Maven. I hope you enjoyed this little extra long video with this mixed media background. And please stop back again next Friday. Here are your close-ups, and have a wonderful day. Bye!